Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is behind Holly there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The boroughs complied with the notice provisions of the Sunshine Law by adopting prior to January 10th of this year a resolution prescribing the dates, times, and locations of all regular meetings of the commission. This meeting is one of the meetings listed in such resolution, and copies of the resolution were prior to January 10th filed with the borough clerk. The boroughs additionally comply with the notice provisions of the Sunshine Law by advertising in two local newspapers the change in meeting format from in-person to remote conference. And with that, I'll just say we're hoping March we're going to be back, but right now it's still scheduled as a Zoom. Hal, go ahead.
Yes, I need a motion to file the minutes from December 27th, 2021.
Make a motion.
Second.
And I need a motion to file the following reports: Tax Collector 2021 Annual Report, Municipal Court, and Zoning Official.
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me. We have the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1730 for electric vehicles.
So this is an ordinance that comes about as a result of a change in state law that requires us to adopt these ordinances that basically gives electric vehicles and charging stations a preferred status under zoning. It basically it's intended to try to stop towns from trying to prohibit them or restrict them. This makes it a lot easier for people to put in electric vehicle charging stations at properties. This is the public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone like to be heard on this? This is your opportunity to be heard. Art, are you able to, anybody, just raise your hand if you have anything you'd like to say or comment on, okay?
I'm looking at it.
Okay, yeah, I had it.
I
There
think
we
you're good.
go. Okay,
No one's raised
all
their
right.
hand.
All right, Hal?
Mayor Maley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewandowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson.
yes,
We have the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1731 to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
So this, we do it every year. This is housekeeping, financial housekeeping that lets us, when we're doing the budget, if we need to exceed the cap in a certain year, you're allowed to basically borrow what cap you didn't use in prior years. And this simply lets you make full use of what you're permitted under state law. We'll talk about it in a little while, but with trash going on, there's a chance, but where this simply gives us the opportunity to use the full extent of the law. So this is the public hearing on this. Anyone that wants to comment on it, bring anything before the commission, this is your opportunity to do so. Raise your hand if you can, electrically raise your hand. Okay, Paul?
Mayor Maley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewandowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson.
yes,
Okay, we have the first reading of ordinance 1732 for general and water capital water improvements.
Cassandra, can you just run through, I'm having trouble finding where that is. Can you just give
Okay.
us a quick rundown of the improvements?
Yep, it's two items, the bulk of which is our two new trucks, our trash trucks. The
Okay.
other item is less, 145,000. That is the finishing the filter media project at the Hillcrest plant. So the repairs and upgrades. Yep.
Okay, so this is the first reading on that ordinance. The public hearing and second reading will be at our March
7th.
7th. Okay. Okay, huh?
Mayor Maley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewandowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson.
yes,
Okay, we have the first reading of ordinance 1733 for dirt bikes.
This is, again, a new state statute that's been adopted to give towns a greater ability to address problems with, you wouldn't think we have the need for dirt bikes, but the kind of the three-wheel, the dirt bikes we've had in the west side, we've had a lot of issues with, you know, dozens of them all coming at one time, riding up on the sidewalks, riding on people's lawns, just kind of like an avalanche of them coming in. It's a problem that Camden City has been having, some other towns have had, we have had it as well. This gives the police the ability to take bikes, basically, to impound and take bikes and hold them for longer periods of time. So this is another little tool for us to use to try to stop this. And this is the first reading. The public hearing will be at the March 7?
Yes.
Is that right? March 7 meeting. Okay, huh?
Mayor Maley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewandowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson.
yes,
Okay, we have the first reading of ordinance 1730, establishing parking ticketing policy for the Parkview apartment parking lots.
So part of our working with the new owners of Parkview, there's security now at these buildings, within lobbies. There's security for parts of the day, kind of afternoon and evening, basically every day. One of the things that they had asked us is to do parking enforcement, blocking spaces, blocking entrances, but to do some parking enforcement in their parking lot on the private property. State law allows that to happen. Sometimes you see it in, I would say, shopping malls. You see it a lot. You also see it in big apartment complexes. In order for that to happen, we have to adopt an ordinance, and we have to have the property owner's consent for us to be able to enforce ordinances on that property. So this is the first step, the ordinance, to put that in place so that we can lend some assistance to help with any parking issues at the property. Hal?
Mayor Maley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewandowski,
Yes.
and Commissioner Robinson.
yes.
Okay, we have public comment on the resolution agenda.
So anybody has any comments on the resolutions, we'll open it up just generally to the public for anything you want to discuss. At the end, any comments on the agenda resolutions, please just raise your hand. Okay, Hal, let's get going on resolutions.
Okay, we have resolutions appointing Samuel Rocco to Sergeant for the Collingswood Police Department,
Yes.
appointing Angelo
That was Timon.
Balestamon.
Balestamon as
Hey.
full officer for the
Angela.
Collingswood Police Department.
So Angelo's been serving as a class 2 for us for some time. We're happy to welcome him aboard. Chief, I imagine when we're all together, we'll do a swearing in with him.
Yes, him and Rocco both.
Yes, yeah. So congratulations. Happy to have him aboard. We're looking forward to good things. Yes.
Authorized to amend a contract to Central Jersey Waste and Recycling Incorporated.
So this is in order to make changes. We had a meeting this morning with our new waste hauler. I won't go into all the detail of it, but in essence, since we have been scrambling to address trash since our trash company walked out at the beginning of last summer, and we put together our own little department and learned that we're probably not the best suited to run a trash company. We went out for bids the end of October. I'm sorry, the end of August. We took in proposals the end of October. We then went authorized a contract in November. One of the changes in the marketplace out there is that we went out only for trash on pickups by a third party. We kept recycling in-house for a couple reasons. One is to keep us prepared in the event that there's more issues with trash companies, that we're not so ill-equipped to go start picking up trash. And the second is that the costs and dealing with the personnel for trash services is prohibitive. And that's reflected in the bids that we received, the bids roughly $600,000 a year. We're basically spending the same amount of money for a third-party waste hauler from 2020 to 2021. Excuse me, from 21. Yeah, no, I take it back. We're doing a waste hauler we're spending the same amount of money for picking up trash only that we were paying for picking up trash and recycling. Our recycling, to do recycling with our own employees, with the trash trucks that we've had to rent on short notice, is about another $500,000 a year. So our trash expenses for pickup have blown up. And it is one of the ways that we, in the bids that we received, that we were saving a couple bucks, was in reducing the size of cans, changing how it's being picked up. The contract that went into effect in November, December last year required 32-gallon cans. That meant the trash company had one person on the back of trucks. We heard from a number of people that they weren't happy with that. Things in the last week or two got, to put it, I know Morgan will talk a little bit about it, but to put it mildly, got way out of hand. We had incidents with residents confronting trash collectors, throwing trash at them, calling them horrible, insulting words. And we met with the trash company this morning. We decided to go back to the prior rules. It's going to cost another $75,000 to $100,000 a year, over and above the increases that we already have. So the trash rules are back in effect with what they were. I have to go back to last spring, when we had a third-party hauler picking up trash. Those trash rules go back to that. And this is the contract. This is authorizing an amendment to this contract to provide for these pickups. I'll just finish with this. The rules, under this contract with the 32-gallon, they've actually been the rules for decades. It is simply that this company had begun to enforce it because the world of trash collection and dealing with employees has changed so dramatically. People get hurt from doing this work, and they've lost employees. That's the reason why we lost this company last summer. And so it's become a lot more difficult. They have this necessity of enforcing this rule. We're paying more to put an extra guy on the back of the truck in order to make it easier on our residents. So that's what this resolution is. Rob, Morgan, while we're doing this, do you guys want to comment on this specifically?
Morgan, I'll give you-
Yeah. I know that we're at the end of our reserves. We get called on to just do a little more, be a little bit more patient, stretch yourself a little thinner. And all of the big things that we've been through, we've all been through big things. And so personally, I feel like, and then the little thing happens and it just breaks you like a twig. And this is a huge inconvenience to a lot of people. I know that, but you can hear from what Mayor was saying. I mean, we've done our best. We're just trying our best. Nobody's out to make anybody have a bad time. And I've never lifted a 64-gallon trash container, but it's hard work. And I just deeply saddened and dismayed at the behaviors that have come out of this trial. I just don't think yelling at people and throwing things is any way to get anything done. And I just hope we can, in this coming year, as things seem to be smoothing out, if we can just try to build our reserves back in so that we don't have to snap when it gets hard. And I do appreciate people reaching out. A lot of people reached out, and that's how it's done, that you communicated with us and we listened to you. And now it's at a great price, but things are changing, and if you got your smaller cans and that's terrible. It's another inconvenience, and I'm sorry about that. But just hoping for a little more grace along the way, and really don't be horrible to people who are working hard. That's how I feel about that.
Thanks, Robbo.
Well, first of all, thanks, Morgan.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. One more thing. Shout out to Joe Rosato and Chrissy Spallone for their hard work at the Triangle at Ferry and Haddon. They worked almost all of Saturday and really made it look nice. So thanks for that.
Thanks. And I think are they both here? I think they are. At least Joe, I think Joe is.
Joe on the line.
I don't know if Chrissy is. So, well, thank you to both of you. I just wanted to add in terms of the trash thing. One thing I said to people, I said, look, the first model was an imperfect solution to an imperfect set of conditions. And even this one is like, it'll make some people happier and some people not, but we'll move forward. And regarding moving forward, we still have a new trash collector. We want to make sure that, that they honor the contract. I think they will, but if there are issues that, we need that feedback. So call Sotera, call us at Public Works and let us know. I don't think any of this is a snap of the fingers and everything goes perfectly. But our goal is always to get it right and then work on getting it a little better after that. So, I don't consider this a settled thing. We're working through it with a new vendor and we want it to work. And please be part of that solution. We need that feedback, positive, negative, it's going to help us grow and improve. So please do that. So we didn't vote on it yet, right?
Not yet. Nope.
Okay. We still got to vote. Okay. I just want to make
Now.
sure.
Yep. You got it.
Yes.
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 Establishing a public session time limit.
So this is simply setting up some rules for public participation. There's no great urgency on it. We just, a lot of towns have adopted and we just put it in place. And we've never had to use it. I don't expect to ever have to use it. That's all I can say. We're just putting it in place just in case. Yes.
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 Authorizing change order number 2 to Lexa Concrete LLC for safe routes to school and traffic calming.
This is finishing up the grant money from the state, which I think we're going to try and take a shot at another grant on this. So that'll be done in probably about 25 years, but we're happy to get this one wrapped up. Yes.
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 Authorizing the auction of municipal vehicles and equipment.
Yes.
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 Awarding a contract to Chaffee's Towing for towing services.
Yes.
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 Awarding a contract to Hunter Truck Sales and Services for 2 2022 rear loader trash trucks.
So this is buying 2 trash trucks. Cost us about $400,000. That is for our new recycling collection department. Yes.
Yes.
Authorizing to advertise for bid for the NJ DOT Lees Avenue project.
This is an NJDOT grant that we received to redo pretty much a good portion of Lees Avenue. This is simply authorizing us to go out the bid. Yes.
Yes.
Designating the property located at Block 97, lots 4.02, 5, 5.01, 5.02, 6, 6.01, 7, and 8 as a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment.
So this is the property that has been a focus of a new Ingerman development. This is designating it as a redevelopment area. It's been through a public hearing at the planning board. They've recommended adoption of this, and this is simply completing that designation. Yes.
Yes.
Supporting the Perkins Center for the Arts application for fiscal year 2022 Capital Arts Grant.
Rob, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so, Perkins Center for the Arts is in a building that's actually owned by the borough. Thankfully, that Perkins thinks like us and says free money is good money. And so they are aggressively going after a capital arts grant program. There's only $4 million available to really work on modernizing some of the mechanicals, perhaps bathrooms, things that, would make that a better facility. And, they're a great partner and we're glad that they're doing this and we support them.
Okay, yes.
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 Approving a shared service agreement with Mantua Fire District 1 for the fire department vehicle maintenance and repairs.
This is pretty much what it says. Mantua Fire District has mechanics that can work on fire trucks. You can't find them everywhere. And this is a way for us to save some money on repairs on our fire vehicle. Yes.
Yes.
Approving a shared service agreement with Haddon Township for EMS and fire protection services.
So this is for cover, Keith Davis, this is covering the west side. Is that what this is?
Yeah, this is the extension where there's no fire department from the railroad tracks of Champion Avenue over to Mount Ephraim Ave.
Got it. So we do a shared service where we cover from the railroad tracks out to Mount Ephraim Ave. It gets quicker emergency response service out for those residents of Haddon Township because of how far they are from the dispatch of the emergency services. We've been doing this for many decades. Yes.
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 And approving the payment of bills as presented by the treasurer.
Yes.
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 Morgan, anything else you'd like to say?
No, that was it.
Okay, Robbo?
I just have about 15 things here, Mayor. But
Okay.
I'll
Let me turn off my camera.
Get comfortable.
now just one thing, we talked about going after money. Collingswood, some good news. Collingswood was awarded, I think it's $190,500. Don't forget that $500. And these are funds that we won in the competitive state Safe Routes to Transit grant program. And it's great to have this money. I'll talk a little bit about what it, where the money will go. And I also want to point out that this is really a byproduct of our Connect 2020 Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan that we worked on now 2 years ago. And that happened with, traffic engineers and experts and really the community. And so as we have that document to guide us, including the community input. And when we saw that there was this grant program, the Safe Routes to Transit program, is we went back and referred to that document. And really what we're going to get is a lot of, pedestrian improvements, really within a half mile of the high-speed line. So it's essentially from Cuthbert to Woodlawn Avenue on Haddon Avenue. And so it's going to be everything from, pedestrian illuminated crossing systems to thermoplastic crosswalks for durability and visibility, brick textured crosswalks, parklets, bike corrals, improved timing at our traffic signals. So there's a lot of investment that goes into this, and any one of them seems like a small thing, but to tiny municipalities, it's really cost prohibitive to do this stuff in any great scale. So this is really some fantastic news, and want to thank all the folks that participated on this from the get-go, including sort of the person that really shepherded us through this, Sandy Kelly, and the green team. So we're sort of working through next steps and sort of getting that money and putting together, all the homework we need to put shovels in the ground and make it a safer, more inviting, avenue. So that's all I got. Just
Okay,
one.
Trash took up most of the comments. I'll just let you know that we're working with the county. It looks like we're going to have within Collingswood an early voting site for the primary and for the general election. And we're working on finalizing that up. I think that's a great help. It'll make it even easier for everybody to vote. We'll have an early voting spot right here in town. So that's all we have. I want to open it up to the public. If you'd like to comment at all, just raise your hand. Joe Rosato. Joe, thanks for your help with cleaning things up out there Saturday.
Joe, you can speak.
Just
You
gotta,
gotta
you just
unmute
gotta
it.
unmute yourself.
Right, yeah, I'm trying to do that. Just give me
Yeah.
a sec.
There you go.
Are we all good?
We're
Yep.
good.
We're good.
Hey, Joe.
Okay. Good evening. So I have a concern, and it kind of goes in 4 parts, but I'll try to be quick with it. It's in regard to an area of town that seems to be forgotten, and I don't think it's forgotten on purpose. I just think that it's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind kind of area. And the area I'm speaking of is where I was on Saturday, which is around the area of Haddon Ferry Avenues. A friend of mine and I were there at the island for 3 hours. We collected 20 contractor bags full of debris. That's a lot of debris for one small area. And, you know, if we go 40 yards towards the center of town, we see another island, and that's the island where the flag is. And it seems like that area, that island, is always well cared for. However, the island by Ferry and Haddon, which I still believe is technically Collingswood, is forgotten. So when we finished that island, I went behind the Dunkin' Donuts, which I believe is Collingswood as well. And I was pretty dismayed by all the trash and debris behind the Dunkin' Donuts. And the manager came out and asked me who I was working with. And I told him the human race. And he thanked me, but then he also told me that the reason it's so bad back here is because there is a homeless and street people contingent living behind the Dunkin' Donuts. And my friend and I saw remnants of clothes, of cardboard boxes, of things that seem to acknowledge and agree with his statement. So, I mean, I do my shopping at Aldi, and that's my way home. And the third thing in that area is the Teamsters Union, which I believe that's Collingswood as well.
Sure.
And the trash that is surrounding the Teamsters Union is, I mean, it is insane, the amount of trash there. I mean, absolutely. All you need to do is stand at the Aldi and look at the Teamsters building in that parking lot and say to yourself, would this happen in the center of Collingswood? Never. It never would be. But this is Collingswood. I believe this is Collingswood. So my concern is, 20 bags of trash from a very small area. And we're talking contractor bags. The deplorable conditions behind the Dunkin' Donuts. The possible homeless coalition living there. The deplorable conditions at the Teamsters Union. The parking lot. I mean, it is bad, real bad. So I say to myself, I see this every day because it's my way home from work, and I shop at Aldi. There are residents, there are Collingswood residents living there. These are Collingswood businesses. If any of this was happening along Haddon Avenue, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't happen. So what what my concern is, I mean, this is a large undertaking, the trash situation. I mean, I know that the borough fines residents and businesses when there is a trash issue or their lawn is, full of debris and grass is too high. Are there any fines for the Dunkin' Donuts or the Teamsters? Because it is pretty outrageous what we saw back there. I mean, it would probably take my partner and I a full day to be at the team. It would be a weekend, just the two of us. I mean, it is.
All right, Joe. So this is this is the first anyone's ever complained to me about the condition of it. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. We will, with respect to the private property, we'll get enforcement out there right away. Yeah, we'll have the police. We'll have to try to check about. I've never heard of anybody living out in back of the Dunkin' Donuts, and the Dunkin' Donuts guys never called about it. Nobody, no residents there have ever called about it. So you're bringing it to our attention. We will go look at it. We will try and find out what's going on with it, and they'll take appropriate enforcement action. Okay. And thank you for your help. I mean, people volunteer and help. We got people cleaning up Knight Park. We got people, a lot of groups organize and help out. On private property, we have ways to try and enforce and make sure that they take care of that. Okay.
Next, I have Rachelle.
Thanks.
Okay. Rachelle,
Hi, can you hear me?
we sure can.
I
Yep.
hear you, Rachelle.
Excellent. Rachelle Brisson, 25 West Gorman Ave. I have a question in regards to the proposed Ingerman redevelopment between West Knight and Madison that came up in a resolution. I recall at the fall public forum, it was mentioned that there was going to be a traffic study about traffic changes. Did that already occur? Was that a part of the planning committee designation, or is that something that is going to happen?
Still to come. It'll be if they advance to the point of a site plan, requesting approval of a project, which they're still, I think, designing and figuring out exactly where on the project. Once they get to that point and file for site plan approval, then that'll be part of that process.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. As a person who lives a block away from where this development is supposed to happen, I do have my concerns, and I'm very interested in seeing what that plan is. So thank you.
You bet. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next, we have Chrissy. Chrissy?
There you go.
Yes, I just wanted to follow up with what Joe was talking about with the trash situation earlier. And I would also like to thank Morgan and the Department of Public Works for helping us to get rid of all the trash bags that we collected. And yeah, earlier last summer, I did another trash pickup with some women and their daughters helped me pick up that area. And it was really bad then as well. And it seems like the situation has escalated and we're not really getting any support. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to claim that area. And it is in Collingswood. My address says Collingswood. I live right around that area. The children on my block go to Collingswood Public Schools. It's properly in Collingswood. It's not West Collingswood Heights or anything of a different status. It's part of Collingswood. Sagami is there, and just Collingswood businesses are there. And Rob was talking about the 190, sorry, that's my dog, $190,500 grant to improve Collingswood areas that are within 1/2 a mile of transit. And I'm wondering why, if that would include the half a mile from the Ferry Avenue station that's in Collingswood. I looked on Google Maps, the pedestrian directions, 0.5 miles from Ferry Avenue that starts at the intersection of Ferry and Pacific. And that's also where all these trash problems that we're talking about started. And I looked at the New Jersey Penn article that breaks down the funding, and I noticed there are a lot of good things. Obviously, I'm in full support of bike corrals. I work at the bike share, so anything that promotes bike and pedestrian safety, I'm 100% on board for. At the same time, I noticed that there were some items that seemed to be decorative, and since there's no funding for the half a mile away from the ferry station, I was wondering if there could be maybe some attention paid to that area. When I looked at the breakdown, there's $100,000 for decorative planters for beautification and visibility. There are 4 or 5 brick textured crosswalks, not just normal crosswalks, but specifically brick textured crosswalks that would cost $8,200 each. And in the New Jersey Penn article, it said that people literally walked the area covered by the grant to see if there was any problems. At the survey that was mentioned earlier, I put pinpoints and I mentioned all these problem areas. One thing is there is no crosswalk of any kind connecting Pacific to Ferry. And there's no crosswalk of any kind connecting the side of Ferry that's opposite of the Dunkin' Donuts where we found a homeless encampment to Haddon Avenue. So that means if you live in the apartments on Pacific Avenue, for example, and you want to walk to the Paco or walk to the Aldi to do your grocery shopping, there's no crosswalk at all.
Right.
There's no way to legally safely walk using a crosswalk to get groceries or go to Paco station unless you walk literally miles out of your way. And that one route along the Dunkin' Donuts that's within arm's reach of a homeless encampment that we found that had sleeping bags, books to read, changes of clothing. And that's really within arm's reach of the dozens of children who walk to school every morning down that pathway. And there's no crosswalk if you want to walk to the other side of the street to avoid the homeless encampment. So I was just wondering if there's any plan that could be put into writing or anything that could possibly improve the areas that I just mentioned.
Yeah, so so first of all, thank you. And you don't just volunteer at the bike share. I mean, you are co-leader of the bike share, and I appreciate everything that you do, Christy. So first things, the grant was written in a way that you couldn't sort of spread the love in a million places. You had to pick a train station, and obviously we have a lot of pedestrians. We had a lot of noted, areas of vehicular and pedestrian conflict along the way. So that's kind of why it went there. I'll just mention about sort of the brick textured crosswalks and the planters. So the planters are for over near Homestead. And one of the reasons why is, we have the new bump out there, and we have a sense that there are visibility issues, right? And we have people sort of, you can just look at the curbs and you can see where people are hitting them. Now, some of those people might be on their phones and distracted in other ways. But one of the things we wanted to make sure to do is to sort of put some structure in there that will beautify, yes, but also create some more visual cues to alert people to slow down, be more mindful. Regarding the brick textured crosswalks, so there is a decent amount of research. You've probably seen it just as much as I do, Chrissy, because you like the stuff as much as I do. Is that textured crosswalks, do make a difference in slowing down and changing behavior of vehicles. So I don't want to poo-poo it as just, pretty stuff. It also has a durability that, sometimes, deck paint doesn't necessarily have. So I'll just mention that about what is on the agenda. Now, getting to, what you're talking about near the Dunkin' Donuts and stuff is, look, I think we should look into it. We're looking at a couple county roads and a state road. And we need to bring those in. We can't just willy-nilly do what we want, but we can advocate for it and we can push for it. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not that I've never walked that area, but I don't spend a lot of time walking that area, and I should. So, I want to go out there and maybe with you and take a look at it and get a better sense of the needs so that we can advocate for it. The other thing I'd say is regarding, homeless people that may be living there. I understand that sometimes people who are homeless, have compounded issues, but I don't want to demonize anyone that may be back there or how they're using that space. Now, obviously, we don't want trash, and if someone's back there, we want to approach it with enforcement, but also with perhaps compassion and, identify. Police are very good at this, and they work closely with social services and stuff to sort of identify those people and perhaps see if there are any ways we can get folks off the street. So I don't know exactly how it's being used. I don't know how entrenched if homeless people that may be back there are, but I just want to make sure that understand that I think our approach will be not just that we need to enforce it and push people out, or that people should be scared that someone may be back there. We should always use caution, but that we'll be mindful. So I want to get out there, and the safe routes to transit is not a one-time thing. There are other opportunities in a place like Ferry. I think we'd have to also work with Woodland and Camden, who are areas that also sort of extend into their areas. And it would be a multi-town thing. In this instance, with one crack at the apple, we're the only people in Camden County, only municipality in Camden County that got this money. Actually, I think the only one in South Jersey that got funding from this. And I could be wrong on that, but I think that's true. And sometimes you got to act quick. I mean, when we found out about it, we probably went from being aware of it to getting a grant in 2 weeks. So but point taken about there, Joe, Chrissy.
Yeah,
and let's follow up.
Yeah, I did want to mention too, because I that is my commute. I have walked it many times from East Wayne Terrace to Ferry Avenue. And I have a lot of neighbors who walk that commute. And Rob's point about this, so it's not this $190,500 is not the end. It's not the last time that anything like this can happen. And it's very much on my radar. My neighbors, my partner walks that route every day, and I'm very aware of it. And I hope to be on the front lines of any other opportunities that come for money for that area. We've had conversations about it. I've talked to Cass about it, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous at best to try and get from here to there. So heard loud and clear, and it's absolutely on our radar.
Okay, anyone else in the public? Just raise your hand so we can see you.
No hands.
Okay, thank you all. Let's hope winter runs fast. We'll see you in March. Thanks all.
Thanks,
We're
everybody.
adjourned.